Hello YouTube, Perfect Death Ryan Chizik here, bringing you some more WarThunder. It's been a while since I did a video, and I hope the sound works well. Haven't really tested this out very much, but here I go in the Yak3. Now, one of the things I always do now is I try to stay on the runway as long as possible. I raise my flaps. This way I get as much distance from my team as possible so they don't ram me. And then I also have a lot of forward moving speed, and it gives me a good climbing advantage, but in most cases, this is generally what I do. Now, the Yak3 is one of the first Yak3s that has actually been balanced in WarThunder out of all of the other Yaks. And it has control stiffening, and it suffers from a lot of, actual aerodynamics and flight mechanics. So that is really nice. I'm just gonna shorten this up a bit here. Play around with the new interface stuff. Clear some of this up. And our team right now is all climbing in generally the same direction. We're up against the Germans, so we can expect that we are going to be time travelers. The Yak3 is a bit of a time traveler, but it's nowhere nearly as bad as the Yak3P. Now, the Yak3 hull was actually designed before the Yak9, but the 3 wasn't very good until they put the Yak9 engine onto it. Then suddenly they mass-produced the aircraft. And so that's what this one is. It has two 50 caliber machine guns with 250 rounds on the engine cowling, and the 120 millimeter cannon that points right out the prop hub with 120 rounds. And I have all of them firing ground target ammo, which is lots of armor-piercing incendiary ammo. And so in general, I'm just trying to climb with our team. This is something that's really powerful with the Russians. You have a very good low altitude advantage. By about 3,000 meters, your supercharger kicks in and you start to perform really well. Meanwhile, the Germans, most of their fighters perform better at altitudes like 4,000 or 5,000 meters. And we have a lot of Yak9Ts on our team. One I-15. Let's see if that will... Oh yeah, there we go. That's the button to show what I'm looking at right now, instead of me looking around. I can disable that, I think. Wherever it is. I gotta learn these new. Show markers in replay. Okay, that's cool. There's the thing. Nope. Yeah, all new interface, which is great for a lot of reasons. Like, I can actually see where my altitude is, what my speed is, and even skip around, reverse, all sorts of really neat things. Other different views, default view, which is the one that I can move around in. What I'm looking at, where I'm checking this I-185 climbing up at me, and I'm like, make sure you don't hit me, buddy. So I'm actually going to speed things up a little bit here. Switch it back to this view just so you don't get too dizzy. And now the Yak3, you do have to be very careful with it because it is fast. It's a very fast aircraft. It's very aerodynamic and light, so it will accelerate very quickly. But its airframe can and will break if you pull too many Gs, especially, which is quite common, and a lot of people do break this aircraft apart. So what I will often do is gently use my, I'll gently guide my nose with my mouse if I'm going at really high speeds. But right here we have two P-47s coming in, Germans, and I just simply dodge him. This guy comes in, and as he rolls to engage me, I avoid that head-on. They're just going to keep going to head-on with my team. and you can see head-ons everywhere. I really don't want to do head-ons. It's a bad exchange, especially when I know I can get above these guys and get a good dive. So what I do is I jockey for position. I check where he is, and you can see here I wait until he starts to go by, but one of my buddies beat him in head-on. So I level out, and I, do a lot of this. A lot of Immelmans. It's a really good way to slow yourself down, convert your speed into altitude. And I see some more Germans over there. Switch back to here. Yeah, and there's two over here that are coming. I'm basically going to flank them because they want to go head on with my team. And we're going to sandwich them. There's another guy there. They keep coming in pairs or in single groups, which is a really bad idea for them. Oh man, these guns are loud. So I'm not looking to just open up on this guy. That's what my team is doing. I'm just taking pot shots on him and then set him on fire. So that might have been one of the other guys who did that. Yeah, I think that was one of the other teammates. So I'm not trying to pull in right behind this guy. I'm going pretty fast, so I'm just going to separate. There's someone else over here. I'm going to evade him. ME410. I don't want to burn off all of my energy, and I choose to fly a sort of support role here and just stay above. But I know there's a guy behind me, and I'm sort of checking on his 6, seeing where he's going. He's going to engage with my teammate, so I'm going to go over there because there's like 3 or 4 guys down there, all chasing after 109. So I'll head over here, help out this guy. Because I don't have a lot of ammunition, and I don't plan on just burning it all on one target. Not when we don't have every single enemy accounted for. So, in here I wait until I'm above. I use a bit of my combat flaps to cut into his turn before I pick up too much speed. And then, instead of trying to follow him in that, I do this, and he climbs up after me, which he can't follow me in, and that way my teammate comes in while he's slow and takes a run on him. I then flip around, come back, and move into a position. My buddy's going after him and he's diving down. I'm not really keen on following into that because I will go too fast. And recently the enemy bombed our airfield, so I started flying back here thinking maybe I could spot them, but my team, I keep checking over there to see what they're doing, and I do that because they are actually engaging enemies and they're finishing off the rest, so I'm going over here to see if I might be able to find where the other players are. And I decide, you know what, I'm going to just head back to where their airfield is. So I dive down under the clouds, see if I can spot anyone sneaking underneath here. And I also check, we have an AI over there, and he starts to climb into the clouds, and I'm not sure if he's going for an enemy player, but he just sort of hangs out there, and I figure he's not actually onto someone. Sometimes the AI will track down the enemy in the clouds. But so I fly over. I figure if they're a bomber, they're going to land and rearm, so I'll head over here. He's hiding in the clouds. So I fly by here and I, take a peek at what's on the airfield. There's nothing landed on there, so while AAA starts firing at me, I end up passing over. And I decide I'm going to go up into the clouds. I'm going to let AAA ignore me. around here I start to notice that I'm lagging a little bit, and it is creating some control problems. And we will notice that much later. But I fly this way a bit more, just sort of double back, and then I'll do a split S, and I'll go back down through the clouds and see if someone's there, and just repeat this as long as I need to. I have like 20 or 17 minutes of fuel, and I spot a 109. So I'm going much faster than he is. He may have came down to see if he could find me, or he is escorting his bomber. So I go up and over him. I know I'm going way too fast for this guy right now. So I go up, and I start diving down where I assume he's going to be. And right about here, he does a hard brake turn. I decide, take a bot shot, see if I can make him turn harder, bleed off some more speed, because all I had to do was mostly roll to match that. So I go up again, convert my energy into altitude, and reset, go back to a high attack position, and take advantage of my rolling rate, while also not gaining too much speed. So right here, I dive down on him, and I noticed that he basically leveled out for a bit, which allowed me to get him. Now right about here, I spot that there's something landing on the airfield, and that's the bomber that was attacking. So I don't like strafing bombers, but he was hiding in the clouds, which was annoying the crap out of me. So I decide, whatever. There was technically 2 people left, but I figured that he was the only one around. Whatever. I was getting a little annoyed waiting all this time flying around in circles of clouds. And right about here, I probably should have just kept going, but I wasn't sure if he was going to repair. So I do an Immelman, and I make a run back in towards him, and I get set on fire. So now, the Yak3 burns. The Yak3 definitely burns. And it slides. It slides very well. So that was this game. And yeah, at the end of it, I know I did do the best move. I could have just waited for the bomber to repair and reload and start flying away and then bounce him. But he may have just circled his airfield. Some people will do that. And so I just figured I'd bounce him and get it over with, get a kill. And yeah, we end up winning shortly after. Their last guy must have died somehow. But they had 2 guys, I'm guessing fighters. One of them was the 109 that I bounced, but they had 2 fighters that were just doing nothing but hiding in the clouds. So I just wanted to get this match over with. But yeah, the Yak3, you do want to be careful with the speed. It can go very fast, and it can break its wings very easily. So manage your speed, do yo-yos, and try not to use your keyboard when you're going fast. Just gently move with your mouse and guide your nose when you're going at high speeds. So I'm Perfect Death Ryan Chiswick. I hope this was informative for you guys. Take care.